Across East Africa, more than 70% of people depend on agriculture for their livelihood. 20 years ago, Kilimo Trust was born with a simple but radical idea that agriculture could be more than survival. It could be a path to prosperity.
Kilimo Trust started in East Africa in the year 2005. The real beginning was our research cooperation in East Africa with the Gaspe Foundation was funding projects in the agricultural sector in East Africa, especially on trees and the major cash crops. Gaspe decided to decentralize its management of its activities in East Africa. They started the Kilimo Trust in London. Since I was cooperating with the foundation, I was the leader of research here. I was one of the first contacts. Lawrence came to me and William Kalema and said we are starting this organization here, and we were asked to be trustees along with some people in Kenya, along with some people in Tanzania.
We began as a grant-making institution, supporting various initiatives and institutions. Over the first 5 years, we realized that we were not achieving the impact that we had hoped for. And then we transitioned to become an implementing agency. What an implementing agency simply means, our staff working closely with village-based agents and resident associates are working with the farmers, the traders, the processors in the communities that we serve. Initially, our teams were based at headquarters in Kampala, where I sit. However, in 2014, the board took a decision that we decentralize in order to improve our efficiency and effectiveness on the ground. So we opened our first office in Tanzania, in Dar es Salaam, and a field office in Mbeya, where our teams were working very closely with the community. It is during this time that we piloted our value chain approach to consortium development with the Tanzania programs. And by 2017, we had adopted the consortium approach to all the programs that we are implementing. We then proceeded to expand our outreach to Kenya and Rwanda.
Guided by local knowledge and regional collaboration, Kilimo Trust set out to transform agribusiness across East Africa.
One of the key distinguishing features of Kilimo Trust is that it has been able to bridge between research and research findings and actual application on the ground and at the field level. I think there are very few organizations that I'm aware of that, number one, have a focus on Eastern Africa and the realities of agriculture in East Africa. Secondly, an organization that actually focuses on transforming lives as a result of adding value to what farmers are doing, giving them access to different value chains, being able to transform their lives by giving them access to those markets and building resilient solutions that can help them improve their livelihoods.
Over the last 20 years, we have been transforming agriculture across East Africa and improving the incomes and livelihoods of farming communities. We are proud to have positively impacted over 750,000 farming households through more than 3,500 linkages to markets across 5 countries in East Africa. Along the way, we have supported over 1,700 agribusinesses to become more resilient to climate shocks and income fluctuations, helping them to secure a more sustainable growth for the rural communities.
The hard challenges in was the marketing. we never had really a sustainable market. Kilimo Trust assisted us to visit Kenya, where we interacted with the buyers of the produce from Uganda. Now, the market linkages that actually we made in Kenya has made us able to sell our grains as far as Nyeri in Kenya. Actually, we were able to sell, if I take this season, I think the first lot went at 780 shillings per kilo, while locally the traders were buying maize at 650. The Kenyans appreciated the quality of our maize.
We've managed to come from 5 million kilograms per year from 2018, since we began with Kilimo Trust, to 7 million per year. By then, we are employing 63 employees, but now there are 85 employees.
With KT, really, it's been a pleasurable journey to understand what is happening on the ground. I love the fact that as an organization, it really works with impact, touches people directly. It's not none of that indirect stuff, macro level engagement. It's at micro level engagement. And I think this is what we need for our African settings. We need to engage to the lowest farmer, to the last farmer, encourage them, teach, allow for the learning and relearning and unlearning, which is really important in the agricultural sector.
Most of the things that we've been very keen on supporting the farmers and the other partners in is basically all factors that are aimed at increasing productivity, increasing the margins for the farmers. One of them is mechanization, particularly of the farm activities or production activities. The other one is technology such as improved varieties, and varieties also that give larger margins in terms of profits and that can compete effectively.
We've been able to introduce good agronomic practices, mechanization. Yeah, we have been able to introduce a lot of other interventions that collectively have actually helped the farmers now be able to reduce their production costs, yeah, quite significantly.
To go for these women who are taking rice from the farm. You could go to them, they borrow us some money, reaching harvesting time. Really, those women were taking almost the whole rice that we have harvested. I could not take them to school by rice farming. But at this time when the Nyabon came, that's where I started getting something that could be seen. I took them to school. Even the teachers could not be annoyed with me because I was paying the whole amount.
We are developing innovations and innovative products that can be uptaken by private sector. Products like biochar and its use in improving productivity and also helping crops to weather climate vagaries, like for example extreme drought, and we are doing this in rice and in coffee.
Kupitia mradi wa KALI tumeweza kuboresha ubora wa mpunga. Kabla ya hapo wakulima walikuwa wanavuna tu kwa mikono na zile fyekeo za kawaida zile. Sasa kupitia mradi wa KALI tuweza kupata na zana zingine za kuweza kuvuna kisasa.
Now that I have 4 sellers, they have helped most of the youth around here. Are employed and they are earning at least per season. I have managed to give 16 youths to work on those sellers during sharing services, and actually approximately each can earn like 750,000 in like 8 weeks. I can earn at least 10 millions net from those sellers, which has helped me to boost the education of my children. They are in boarding schools. I have invested some in buying some houses. For example, I bought the house in Rwanda, and actually they have also helped me to boost on my business, the capital of the agro input shops.
Sisi wakulima tutapata maji ya kutosha, pia tutapata mavuno ya kutosha kwa msimu wote. Hata mvua itakapochelewa, sisi tutaendelea na kilimo.
Sobodde okugula epoloti mwenzimbye amaka gange sobodde okutandikawo edduuka eya farm supply ate nga liri ku level ya wholesale kuba kati nsobola okusuubuza naye nnyo ba village agents be bakasoma abange abakulu. Ekirala kye nsobodde okwekolerawo kwe kusobola okugula ebyuma ebikola ku post harvest handling nayo binyamba okuleeta kasente. Kati kino bwe nkikomputinga n'enkiza mu ssente ndabira ddala nga bwe ngatta enfuna yange yonna ku nkomerero y'omwezi nsobola okufuna $1,450,000.
At the heart of Kilimo Trust's work are people, especially those that have often been left behind. Women, youth, and people with disabilities are not just beneficiaries, they are leaders of change.
Kilimo Trust has always looked at the kind of impacts they are going to have at the ground level, you know, especially on smallholder farmers. And it doesn't matter what it is they are farming, it could be coconuts, it could be trees, you know, but also now looking at environment and more importantly, more lately, is focusing on the youth, job creation. Yeah, job creation, whatever projects we run in food systems, how can we create jobs, especially for young people?
My name is Andrew Gashaija. I am the team leader for Kilimo Trust Rwanda, and I also lead the RIS project, which is the IFAD Agribusiness Hub in Rwanda. It's a project that is implemented by Kilimo Trust in partnership with the colleges of Rwanda Polytechnic and the Rwanda TVET Board and RIAF to create jobs for youth in agribusiness. The goal of RIS project is to create employment opportunities for rural youth in Rwanda. The youth with hearing impairment are actually youth who are contributing so much in the labor market, and you realize the labor market for some time had ignored the potential of these young people. So we were very lucky to get into this partnership, where we have a partnership with the Technical College of Higher Learning, IPRC Musanze of Rwanda Polytechnic, and the Masaka Creamery. This is a milk processing factory that we have partnered to make sure that we create a special learning environment for these youth with hearing impairment. And we are lucky that in partnership with Masaka Creamery, all that have graduated have actually been absorbed by the factory as employees of the company.
We were introduced to Kilimo Trust in 2015. Kilimo Trust, in a very tremendous way, were able to put us in with other cooperatives. They linked us. That is through consortiums, something we didn't know previously. So after being put together, Kilimo Trust made these other cooperatives to have trust on us that if they can supply us items like, for example, foodstuff maize or beans, we were able to agree on certain times for payment.
Nkapangisa hika zangi ibiri sazini ebe parafini vichi na ebindi sazini nsobora school fees y'abana hati n'abana bakabarekisa kusoma bashayimuka haliwo mwana babiri aba P7 bali ebuka hano nibo hati kasasura kasente hawa kasente n'ekindi omuka kagura proti yange emiliyoni bibiri.
As the sun sets onto decades of impact, Kilimo Trust looks ahead, not with nostalgia, but with a renewed ambition. The next chapter is one of innovation, inclusion, and sustainability.
When it comes to looking at KT 20 years from today, if I may take today's or the last 2-3 years records as the base, and the growth that has been experienced over the last 3 years and focus in the next 10 years to 2030, I would say that KT will be a very strong institution impacting on the development of agricultural systems in the region, and working very closely with governments and so helping the governments to solve the problems that they may have, and developing new and better ideas for adoption even by the donor community.
Looking into the future, Kilimo Trust is committed to scaling solutions that have worked very successfully to ensure that we deliver impact not only at food and nutrition security level for our farmers, but continue to drive climate resilience, youth, jobs, and inclusive markets in East Africa. We will harness the power of digitization and artificial intelligence to drive smarter, data-driven decisions in agriculture, making food systems more efficient and accessible. Our work will continue to be aligned to the Sustainable Development Goals, ensuring that we contribute to the global ambitions of ending hunger, reducing poverty, and building a more sustainable planet.
What I see is that the last 20 years have been years of learning, years of experimenting, years of failure, years of successes, and we have built a wealth of knowledge. We've built strong partnerships. We have presence in almost all the East African community countries, and what lies ahead is growth. Because over the years, Kilimo Trust has proven that once it takes on an assignment, it completes it to the highest quality, with excellence, in time, and accountable to our partners in how we utilize resources that are put in our custody for the farmers to benefit. So I see Kilimo Trust being bigger. I see Kilimo Trust undertaking more assignments. I see it going beyond the borders of the countries that it is in today.
Success for the Kilimo Trust going forward would be its ability to engage interactively with all the players in the agricultural landscape. Specifically, we're now talking, as I talked before, you looked at value chains and projects, but the people are the people who drive development. So when you talk about skilling farmers, cooperatives, or even individual youth members in agriculture, and then working on the other side with the industry that is involved in agro-processing, I think this is the way to go.
As we celebrate 20 years, I really want to celebrate our farmers that have trusted us to support them and walk this journey, because that transformation would not have been there if they didn't believe in the work that we do, in the information that we provide them, and in the support that we give them. So thank you for trusting us, and we continue to work the next 80 years with you diligently. To the traders and the processors, we remain committed to supporting you in harnessing the opportunities in East African markets and the African Continental Free Trade Area. Continue investing in the value chains, and we'll support you to build strong and reliable supply chains. The second category I'd like to celebrate is the leadership that has carried us through both good and challenging times. Our board of trustees, working hand in hand with the subsidiary boards, have provided vision and stability. Equally, our management team and dedicated staff have been the heartbeat of Kilimo Trust, driving innovations, nurturing partnerships, and keeping our mission alive every day. To them, we are very thankful. No journey of transformation is undertaken alone. Over the last 20 years, we have built strong collaborations with national and local governments, the private sector, and the donor community in East Africa. These partnerships have enabled us to deliver a range of services, ensuring that the benefits of agricultural transformation reach the farmers, the entrepreneurs, and the communities that need them the most.
From seed to harvest, from hope to impact, Kilimo Trust's 20-year journey is a story of partnership, innovation, and trust in Africa's agriculture future. Kilimo Trust, 20 years of transforming lives through agribusiness.